Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Welcome back,
Let's go.
traders. How are we doing today? We have an
I'll wake up to
absolutely
it.
beautiful video going over GameStop and the broader market, as well as the short interest, all the good stuff. So make sure to stay the full length of the video, slap the subscribe button, and hit the like button on the way out. I want to start with the Fear and Greed Index. Let's not switch it up. Let's keep it simple. So the stock market actually saw a little bit of a rally into neutral, net neutral on the Fear and Greed Index. And then crypto coming a little bit out of the fear, still an extreme fear, which, I mean, it was at 6, now it's at 11. So you saw a pretty monstrous bounce out of crypto today. And just talking the broader market, IWM, the one, the only lovable meme stock basket, has seen a pretty strong week. And when you look at the comparison, right, look on the broader scale of our thesis, that is that the market is getting much more risk on. And what you're seeing is the IWM or Russell 2000 outperform the lovable S&P 500. Now, why is this a big deal? It's a big deal because when you look at the broader scheme of things, this is almost never the case, right? You're seeing the small cap stock index begin to outperform. And when you go from the top to the bottom, almost 20%, guys, in the last 2 months. And then you look at the same time period on S&P, only 6%. So that is huge. You're starting to see a lot of these smaller cap stocks outperform and rally as IWM makes back to back all-time highs. And you can see the RSI here on the daily is being to break out of the RSI daily band. And then when you look at the closes, guys, you are doing exactly what we covered in the last video, right? We took a little bit of a day's hiatus, but we said as long as you held the weekly 9-day EMA as well as the 50-day on the daily, right? And IWM so often uses this as a spring or catapult in which to find a bottom and bounce from. And that's exactly what you did, almost to the freaking penny. You see here on IWM, you chopped around, came down, tapped the 50, and then now you are back above this trend line, guys, in this overall channel. So our thesis on IWM is you are going to continue to make higher highs and higher lows as long as you hold this channel, as well as the daily MACD about to cross to the green. So that's a beautiful thing. I don't want to hold you guys away from GME because I know you guys are going to freak out, but I just want to give you that quick comparison because I thought it was a very, very cool thing to see when our overall macro thesis is starting to play out like we thought it would. But on GME, Jimmy, I wanted to go over the macro monthly time frame chart because that tells a very particular story. And when you look at it, you see a couple things, right? You see a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders pattern, right? This is your consolidated base right beneath $25, guys. That is your point of control on this chart. One of the most important levels, right? And I wanted to make that clear. When you look at the candlestick closes, that tells the story of this chart and of this stock. You can see the wicks almost always wick off of $25 and you close either a hair above or a hair below. And you can see the rejections off of this, guys, are some of the nastiest, and some of the breakouts are some of the nastiest on the stock's history. And what you're doing right now is a story to behold because you are closing currently in the monthly above 25 or above $24 on the monthly. You are perfectly wicking off of the 50-day EMA, closing above the 9 on the monthly. So you are confirming your short-term bullish time frame. And as well as that, guys, you have a breakout of the falling wedge that we talked about since all the way back in September. So the thing looks beautiful. It looks absolutely gorgeous, but it is now the follow through in volume that you would like to see. And I have not covered this much, but I wanted to cover it today, that the monthly MACD, something that has only crossed green twice in GameStop in the last 5 years, guys. 5 freaking years, on the bottom of 2024 and on the bottom of the freaking squeeze back in 2020, right? So when you look at the technical confluence here, it looks amazing. Genuinely, it gets me excited because you look at IWM breaking all-time highs. You look at GameStop now significantly better as a profitable company, bottom line improved, and Ryan Cohen cooking something absolutely delicious up with a possible acquisition. I genuinely get excited about the future price of this company and seeing the levels that it's at. So looking as though the monthly MACD is about to cross green. Let's take a scale here, right? And I got to zoom out a little bit because it's not going to really give the full perspective of the monstrous moves that this thing has when it's had the monthly MACD cross. Now, this is originally, for me, what I had believed to be the reason that this thing popped off. I know we had Roaring Kitty come back on Twitter, and that was a huge thing for social media, but you had a 500% move in the span of 28 days. That is absurd, right? You also go back to the first move on GameStop, which happened back in 2020. I got to zoom out even further because this is crazy. From the monthly MACD cross, literally as soon as you got it, that was your bottom. And then this was a 18,000% move, right? So if the trend is your friend, and I tend not to bet against the trend because that would be dumb, the trend is telling you that once you get this monthly MACD cross, guys, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in a little bit over a year and a half, right? That once you get this, something is going to happen and or the story will flip in your favor. And for me, that is inherently a good thing when you look at the daily chart, right? Let's take a little peeky weeky at the daily. As you can see here, you have a little bit of, on the RSI, 3 rising valleys formation. And I'll quote this for you, or a little bit of a rising wedge, right? Depending on how you look at it. Either way, short term up, right? We had talked about this being a potential head and shoulders pattern and validated by this recent breakup. Now, if you stopped right around 25 and you see a hard rejection, it's still possible that that is going to be head and shoulders and come back down, but we are going to be watching it closely. Now, what I like from this chart on the daily time frame is you saw a bullish hammer candle, an inverted bullish hammer candle, and now you're seeing a breakout of this pennant or of this structured triangle formation, which technically, right, gives you the move upwards of $30, which is insane, right? Given the fact that you are holding these levels, right, holding your neckline here from the breakout of the double bottom, holding now back right underneath this super important macro trend line, right, all the way back from 2024, that you've seen bounces and rejections back and forth on this stock. It has literally been the most important and valid trend line currently. But what you are doing right now is you are breaking the RSI band at the same time that you're breaking out of this formation. Now, all of that to say that the stock looks freaking nice. Genuinely, you have almost a daily golden cross occurring, which would be the first since you saw that squeeze move when the MACD crossed green. That is huge, right? That's another technically confluent part of this structure. You have multiple gaps above you, currently sitting at $28, $30, and the all-time gap that we've talked about time and time again at $72, acting as that beautiful price target from back in 2021 you left during a equity offering. And I cannot help but get bullish off of this daily golden cross. So if you are genuinely going to hold here on the weekly, right, look at what you're doing. The 9-day on the weekly is about to cross above the 50. That is going to lead to some explosive crapola, guys. Genuinely, that is going to make this thing go boom, right? Up to these $28 levels if you're able to hold 25. So that's what we're watching here. The volume is very dry. That is one thing that you can be cautious about. You do still have, right, devil's advocate, you do still have technical gaps at 2193 and then also at 2125 to watch for if this is that head and shoulders pattern. And it would not be the worst case scenario, guys. Genuinely, that would not be the worst case scenario because that breakdown of the head and shoulders formation would take you on the profit target back down to $20. And we were literally just there. So there's nothing to be fearful about. You would fill these two gaps and you would retest not just the falling wedge, right? But also this macro potential 3 rising valleys in which you saw a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Then potentially, right, your third higher high, wherever it may go, would be a bullish setup to accumulate shares at the bottom here. But in my opinion, guys, you see the daily MACD, one of the best momentum indicators, crossing green or curling up, right? So the bullish momentum is in our favor. It's a beautiful thing, right? You look at a couple different fundamental news. I know there was a lot of DD, tinfoil, whatever you want to call it. Michael J. Burry, the Big Short, commenting on GameStop recently, as early as yesterday, saying, if Ryan Cohen has GME buy another version of BBBY, I am out. So basically what he's saying here is invest wisely, because there is high discussion of GameStop investing in an acquisition. And what that's going to do basically is, I'm assuming, change the brick and mortar business, right? You want to grow your top line and cut your bottom line. If you buy a dying company, and to me, that is going to be important on how they deploy their capital, or if you buy something with a large overhanging debt, you are going to put yourself in the exact same position that you were prior, right? And so this is where he's coming from, in my opinion. Nobody knows genuinely where he's going to go, what he's going to do, how he's going to invest. But I am very hopeful with seeing the year-over-year growth on GameStop. No company is repping these kind of numbers, guys. Genuinely, when you go to the income statement, 661% year-over-year. That is insane. 1,000% year-over-year gain in net income. Like, you genuinely don't see that anywhere else. And the Cinderella story that has been Ryan Cohen turning this dead company, right, quote unquote, zombie stock, to profitable in just its regular day-to-day business is insane, right? No equity offer needed. So that is the little DD on GameStop. I wanted to do one more for you guys and go over the short interest, because 16% is genuinely still very, very high on this stock. And I think there's a lot of squeezing potential, right? If you start to see these levels break and you start to see a higher high, a swing high into the bull zone above 70 on the RSI, guys, and this thing gets very exciting. And you'll see some short covering. You'll see some Twitter posting, some you-know-what posting, and you will see momentum come back in to the stock market, which is exciting because there are so many different things aligning that could allow this to happen. And those kind of special runs are what we're here for, right? We're here to make money at the end of the day. And you have IWM in your favor. You have GameStop in your favor. Now you just need someone to not say the word tariff and you'll be in 72 by no time, right? All jokes aside. I think that's all I got for today. So thank you guys so much. God bless each and every single one of you guys. I love you. Thank you for the comments on why I've been gone. Thank you for everything, all the likes, because most of the videos have hit 1,000 views, hit 100 likes, and the subscribers keep piling in. So make sure to do so. God bless each and every single one of you guys, and goodbye. Ciao.